Hello and welcome to day 18 of Bookmas. Today I wanted to talk to you about my 5-star predictions for 2026. In 2026, one of my plans is to get a little bit more out of my comfort zone with my reading, which kind of makes it harder for me to predict the books that are going to be 5 stars, because most of the books that I'm putting on my TBR are not books where I'm really sure that I'm going to like them, which is kind of contradictory to what I said in what I learned about reading less, that I'm more likely to pick up books where I know that I will like them. But as always, things are a bit more complex and I can't just always pick books that I know that I will like, because then I will never try anything new. So these are like the two things that I kind of need to get to match and to try new things that I know that I'm probably also going to like, or if I don't like them, just going to DNF them, but only after I've really tried, because sometimes you just need a bit of time with new things to try them and to really get into them. So these are kind of the conflicting priorities that I'm dealing with. Not that it's really a big deal or anything, but just to make it clear why I picked books where I'm not really sure if I'm going to like them, even though I said that was what I set out to do. Probably none of you even care, so let's just get into it. I think the books that I chose are a good mixture of books where I'm pretty sure that I'm going to like them based on my own experiences, and books where I'm not so sure that I'm going to like them, but based on what people told me about them, I'm fairly certain that they will still fit my vibe and what I enjoy in reading. And I'm going to go in order from the book that I think I am least likely to give 5 stars to the one I think I'm most likely to give 5 stars. But again, all of these are 5-star predictions. The first book is one that I've had on my TBR for quite a while, and I was always a bit too shy to pick it up because it is a bit intimidating, and that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. And the reason why this is intimidating to me is because it is a true fantasy book. And I mainly read romantasy nowadays, so this is a bit out of my comfort zone in a sense that it is a different type of fantasy from what I usually read. I feel like this is the type of fantasy where I'm always like, no, this might be too drawn out for me. I don't have the patience really to read these because there are so many descriptions, and this is all just my stereotypes playing into this. So just basically it being such a typical fantasy, or Brandon Sanderson in general writing such typical fantasy, is what kind of stopped me from picking up his books. But I really want to try to get into it, and even if it takes me longer to read these and to get started with this series, that is not a bad thing, and I just have to keep in mind that it's not bad to take a little bit longer to read a book and to find my way into the story and all of the world building and just enjoy it. And just basically reading slower paced fantasy is the goal here, and I think this is going to be a really good intro to that, because from what I've heard, this is a story that is really gripping and that is a good entryway into Brandon Sanderson's work. And if you don't know what this book is about, I'm going to tell you. For 1,000 years, the ash fell. For 1,000 years, the Scar slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years, the Lord Ruler reigned with absolute power and ultimate terror, divinely invincible. Every attempt at a revolt has failed miserably. Yet somehow hope survives. A new kind of uprising is being planned. One that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the courage of an unlikely heroine, a Scar street urchin who must learn to master elemency, the power of a Mistborn. What if the prophesied hero had failed to defeat the Dark Lord? The answer will be found in the Mistborn trilogy, a saga of surprises that begins here. And the reason why I think I'm probably going to like this book is because my boyfriend has told me that I would. And that is basically enough, but also, obviously, Brandon Sanderson is one of the most popular fantasy authors out there, and who would I be as a reader if I didn't at least try to read his work? That would be such a shame if I just didn't pick it up because I thought that I'm not the intended target audience, or because I think that it's probably just going to be too slow paced for me, or I have a misconception about what traditional fantasy might be. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just totally wrong and this is going to be really fast paced and I am going to fly through this and this is going to be my new favorite book. And I hope that is what's going to happen. Maybe I just also learn to enjoy slow fantasy. I don't know. So I think this is actually one that so many people have recommended, that is so popular, and that people in my life have told me that I will enjoy, and that also other authors that I really love, like Lee Bardugo, have praised this author so much. And I've heard things that he said about his own books and the way that he talked about romantasy as well. I think he is a great guy from what I've heard. And all of this makes me want to pick up this book and makes me believe that this has real potential for a 5-star read for me. But as I said, I'm kind of venturing off here and I don't really have a reference point or something that I can rely on when judging my enjoyment of this, my potential enjoyment of this book. So I'm just going to say it's going to be 5 stars. And I'm going to manifest that. The next book kind of goes into the same direction, even though a bit different, and that is Neuromancer by William Gibson. This is a sci-fi classic. And I haven't read a lot of sci-fi in my life, but this still sounds like something that I would really, really enjoy, and that is why I think this is going to be a 5-star read. And right now I am really in the mood for this book and in the mood for reading this. Unfortunately, I'm in the middle of 5 other books that I still need to finish, so we'll see how I feel about it after that. But still, this sounds really good. And this is also so well known and praised in the sci-fi genre that it just needs to be good. Henry Dorset Case is a low-level hustler, former hack and console cowboy who crashed and burned. His nerves were damaged, and so, cut off from the digital matrix, he slouches through life. Until he meets Molly, an augmented razor girl who offers him a deal on behalf of a shadowy man called Armitage. His nerves repaired and matrix access restored in exchange for a single job. But it's not so simple. Unless he completes the job, sacks of poison will explode inside him and cripple him again. And the job, that might be impossible. And apparently this is also a book that has a lot of history and is really important to the sci-fi genre, because it says here, the first novel to win the Hugo, Nebula and Philip K. Dick Awards, Neuromancer has become a seminal part of SF history, coining the term cyberspace and lighting a fuse on the cyberpunk movement. Part thriller, part warning, it is one of the first 20th century most potent visions of the future. And honestly, I'm really curious to see what this book is going to be like. But so far, I think this has potential for a 5-star read. Then another book that I think is going to be 5 stars, because I am currently reading one of the same author's books, and I am really enjoying it so far, and I think the writing style is really good and the story just sounds so interesting, and that is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. And I have heard so many good things about this author, and I like her writing style in the current book that I'm reading, Catabasis, and this is a very different story from what I've read, but it also sounds like it might be right up my alley with the type of books that I've read this year that are more in the literary fiction department, like the Taylor Jenkins Reid type of books. And this is a book about a writer. When failed writer June Hayward witnesses her rival Athena Liu die in a freak accident, she sees her opportunity and takes it. So what if it means stealing Athena's final manuscript? So what if it means borrowing her identity? And so what if the first lie is only the beginning? Finally, June has the fame she always deserved, but someone is about to expose her. What happens next is entirely everyone else's fault. And this is obviously a book that also has been talked about so much, that people have praised so highly, that I think this is also probably going to be a 5-star from me. We'll see. With the next one, we are in a little bit more of safe territory, for my taste at least. because I just know the author. I know that I enjoyed every single book that I've read by this author so far, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I have read a few Ali Hazelwood books this far, and I really want to read more and go more into her backlist of books. So this is one that I really want to start with, because this is, I think, the book that really made Ali Hazelwood so popular and is one of her most well-known books as well. The whole series actually is one that I want to pick up. And this is kind of the starting point for it all and where the whole hype began. At least for me, that was when I heard about Ali Hazelwood for the first time. And that is why I want to pick this book up next year. And this book is about a fake relationship between scientists. As a third-year PhD candidate, Olive Smith doesn't believe in lasting romantic relationships, but her best friend does. And that's what got her into this situation. Convincing Anne that Olive is on her way to happily ever after was always going to be tough. Scientists require proof. So like any self-respecting woman, Olive panics and kisses the first man she sees. That man is no other than Adam Carlson, a young hotshot professor and well-known ass, which is why Olive is positively floored when he agrees to keep her charade a secret and be her fake boyfriend. But when the big science conference goes haywire and Adam surprises her again with his unyielding support and his unyielding abs, their little experiment feels dangerously close to combustion. Olive soon discovers that the only thing more complicated than a hypothesis on love is putting her own heart under the microscope. The description is a bit silly, but let's be honest, a lot of Ali Hazelwood books seem a bit silly, and the writing style never takes itself too seriously, so I think this is still going to be really good. And just because I know that I like the writing style so much and the story sounds really fun, and I love the theme of women in STEM, I am going to predict that this is going to be 5 stars. And the last book is one that isn't even out yet, but I had to put this on my list because I just know that this is going to be a 5-star read. And that is Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo, a book that comes out in fall. It is the 3rd part of the Ninth House series, and I just love this series so much. I enjoyed the first 2 books in the series a lot, and it is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Dark Academia series. And I think this is going to be the end or the finale of the series. So I believe there's going to be this huge conclusion of things at the end. And I am just so looking forward to this book because of the characters that I already know and love, and about the whole story and the setting. Everything about this is just great. And with that one, I'm fairly certain that it's going to be a 5-star read, because how could it not be? It's a Leigh Bardugo book, and they just keep getting better and better. And the whole Ninth House series is a Dark Academia series about a girl that is in a secret society in Yale, and her mentor went missing, and she is a person who can see ghosts, and that is the whole premise of the story. And she is in the Ninth House, which is the secret society that basically has to keep all of the other secret societies in check, and she starts to investigate some things that have been going on campus and with these societies, and she discovers more and more hidden things, and it's really cool, and there's a lot of dark magic and stuff like that, so really good. And yeah, these were the 5-star predictions for 2026. I am really excited and interested to see if all of these are going to live up to my expectations, or if they're going to be 5 stars, how the whole reading experience will be. It is a bit different than the ones that I predicted the last few years, just because I'm trying new things, as I said. But I think this is a pretty good selection. I'm really happy with those. And it's really funny because all of the books that I picked out were books that I purchased in English, so apparently I'm also going to do a lot of English reading next year. But that is totally fine, why not? And yeah, I'm really excited to pick up all of these books, and I am excited for reading in 2026 because I think there's going to be a few really great books on my TBR, and I'm also excited to try some new things and see where that might lead me. I think trying new things can almost always just lead you in a good direction, because at least you will then know if you like it or not. And yeah, maybe I'm going to be a really big fantasy or sci-fi reader in the end of the year. I'm interested to hear what your 5-star predictions are for next year, if you have any, or which books you're really excited to read next. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye!